Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a celebrity psychic reading on Miss Lauryn Hill. A lot of you out there that are, maybe in the younger generation that is not aware of who Lauryn is. I do this typically in every video, kind of give you a little bit of background as to who I'm reading, so that way you have a little bit more of an idea. Miss Lauryn Hill is a songwriter, an actress, and a singer and performer. And she was very popular in the 1990s. She was part originally of the Fugees, that band, and then she broke off into a solo career. And she had an enormous amount of success with one of her albums. And she's also was born on the same day as me, May 26th. So we are both Geminis. But that being said and done, I'm going to put all away I'm a fan of Miss Lauryn Hill, so I'm going to put that to the side and just give a raw, unbiased reading on her. So I'm going to tell you what I see for the remaining of 2018 going on, for her, and give you a little bit of backstory as to what I see in her past, what would have transpired over the years in her career, and why she has chosen to sort of follow a different track than most artists out there. So when I get into Mrs. Lauryn Hill, I call her Mrs. because I have so much respect for her, but I'll just call her Lauryn. When I tune into Lauryn's soul and energy, what I see is that she is a very old soul. So she's very wise. She comes from a strong African lineage, dating back to, I want to say, healers. These were very strong healers. So she's a healer herself. She has strong healing abilities apart from her music. And I feel like she's very, very in tune with Mother Earth, with the connection to spirit. And she has certain psychic abilities herself. I feel like she can tune into certain things. I'm going to go back to when she first started with the Fugees. This was a group of guys, and she was the female, the only female, I believe, in the band. And she had a lot of success with them and whatnot. But I feel like when she was in that environment, she wasn't feeling, like she was really supported. I think there was a lot of things that were going on. There was substances being used by the guys. I feel like she was, treated, not fairly, and there was some form of abuse, whether this was verbal or sexual. I'm not, I can't really say, but I know, for out of respect, but I do see that there would have been some kind of abuse that she would have endured during those years as being part of that group. I feel like they did respect her in certain ways, but then it sort of, in the beginning, but it sort of deteriorated their relationships and the friendships that they had, and so she decided to part ways from them, which was a very positive thing for her career. And then she branched off and did, Sister Act and that movie with Whoopi Goldberg, and then she did, other, appearances. And then she had the Miseducation, album that she had out, and she had tremendous amount of success with that. But I feel like there was a price to pay with a lot of, the fame and stuff that was going on. She was already famous with the Fugees and with all their hits, so people did. It's not like they didn't know who Lauryn Hill was. But when she broke off, I think there was a lot of skepticism and there was a lot of criticism towards her that she wouldn't make it as a solo artist, and she proved a lot of people wrong. And she showed them, that she really didn't have anything to prove, but she just showed them that she was, a very strong female solo artist. And she had a tremendous amount of success, but I really feel like it wasn't all, perfect for her. There was a lot of things that she learned at a very young age, and it made her wiser, and it made her, kind of turn away from the spotlight. She kind of realized, this is not something I can see myself doing for, and being controlled. I think they tried to control her, and she's a powerful lady, and I don't feel like with her personality it's very fiery, and she's gonna speak her mind. And when she goes and starts speaking about things that she likes, some men wouldn't have been able to handle it. They wouldn't have liked it because she stood up. Some men don't like the fact that there's a strong, powerful female and they speak their mind. And that's what I get with Miss Lauryn Hill, that she would, she is that person. She would tell you exactly how it is. Even now, nothing has changed with her. I feel like she still has that beautiful soul and that strong, outspoken character of herself. Um, but yeah, she witnessed a lot of things, and I think they were trying to put her into a more sexier image of herself, kind of feeling like she was objectifying herself. That's her mentality, and what I get from her soul. She kind of felt like she was being objectified, and basically they were trying to use her sexuality to sell records, and that was not a direction that she was going to go with. So I feel like she, kind of, said, you know what, whatever. And even though she's under contract, to produce albums and whatnot, I feel like she knows that still, and she's still signed, I believe, to a record company, or she's at least still active in the music. I see her actually writing songs, and I hear Spirit tell me that she's working on an album. So I think a lot of people that wouldn't know, or maybe have thought, maybe she's never going to come back into the music industry. I feel like we are all being prepared for a comeback from Miss Lauryn Hill. And I feel like she, has a good vision of what kind of music that she's going to be producing and writing. And I feel like a lot of people in the industry that knew back then, that she had this star potential and this presence, will support her. I mean, she's still young. She's about 43 years old, so she's still young, and she could definitely come back, with an album. Will it be as successful as the Miss Education, album that she had? I don't know. I feel like, she would be well received by a lot of older generations, and maybe some new generations that still bop to, the 90s music and whatnot. Because believe it or not, a lot of the youth of today, they are very much, they love the 90s music and the 80s music. There's a lot of people that tune into that regardless of age, because music is transcendental, and it basically, there's no barriers to a certain age. It appeals. There's people that still listen to 60s, 50s, and 40s music. So, but what I see with her is that she, also has had a darker, even though she got away from that, I feel like she was battling, I want to say, like, an eating disorder at some point in her life. I feel like there was something going on with her health, after she decided to kind of like leave, and kind of withdraw from the music company and from producing any more music. And I feel like she was also battling a darker period of her life where there would have been some kind of draw to either substances of some sort, or this could be alcohol, smoking, or whatnot. But there was something that drew her energy, and I feel like it's been like a constant battle here and there, but she kind of controls it herself, and she only, does it whenever she feels the need to. But I feel like she's very strong and very opinionated, and it's going to be, very difficult to get her back to make a comeback, because I feel like a part of her doesn't want to come back, but then a part of her thinks about, her future, and people, just her fans. There's still a lot of Lauryn Hill fans out there. I'm one of them, and there's a lot of other people that are my age. I'm 36 years old, so there's a lot of people that, that grew up in that time frame. I grew up in the 90s, and we still love Lauryn Hill. We want another album from her. We want to hear her voice. She's just so soulful. There's a lot of artists that come out, and there's a lot of artists that have good music, but there's only a select few of people, and you can agree with me if you want to or disagree, but there's only a select few of people out there like Miss Lauryn Hill that has that voice that it haunts your soul. It kind of like never goes away. You always will remember that person for that hit, or that, that song. And she's had several hits and several songs that stand out. So what I see for her is that she is working on new music. I get that she is working on other projects as well. There is possibly a movie that they want to cast her in, but she's very, if it's not going to be done in her kind of way, she's very hands-on. I feel like she's going to just turn it down. But I do see her working on music, writing, and with musical instruments, and I hear her humming and kind of like melodically, trying to work on new materials. So I see that, and I see like she's going to be rewarded for all of her patience. She's had a lot of patience. I feel like she also knows a lot of things that's happened, and she hasn't publicly spoken out a lot about the record industry, but she will eventually. But I do see like whatever she's working on now for her career, it is going to be rewarded by spirit, by the universe. So there's something definitely positive for her. I feel like she's entering into a new era of her soul's life path, which is definitely going to be a lot of rewards and her back on the spotlight where she belongs. Because I feel like she's a celebrity. She belongs in the spotlight. I know that I don't mean it like, she belongs in the spotlight and she doesn't deserve privacy, but I mean that she belongs in the spotlight and she belongs, I mean, she deserves to be praised, you know, for her talent. She's very talented. And I feel like her voice is still impeccable. It's still there. I do feel like there is a lot of jealousy, though. People that are now in the industry, other artists. There's some people that are about her age, who were, in the industry at the time that Miss Lauryn Hill was in there. So I feel like there's some jealousy that took place when she was, an artist, and it was a lot of rivalry with other female artists, but she didn't see herself as, she never was the one to be drama filled and wanting to start drama with other people. But there was just a lot of people that were like that with her, and they weren't really her friends. They couldn't stand her because she was a very powerful lady. And she just speaks her mind. But she, like I said, she is a very spiritual woman. I feel like she's very connected and she's being guided by spirit, by her ancestors. Right now, I feel a lot of connection to Egypt with her for some reason, and it's not the necklace and not the photo, but Egypt. And she would have had a past life in Egypt. And I'm just, this is coming from spirit, so I'm just giving the messages as I'm getting them for her. But she's very connected to the Egyptian time period, and I feel like she does know that as well. And I feel like she came from a royalty type of lineage back then, and I just see her being very connected to Egypt. And there's going to be some kind of influence in her music somehow. Either this is an homage or symbolism that she would be using when she does come out with her album, or whatever project that she's working on. And I feel like there's a good friend in the music industry that is working with her, that is trying to convince her. This would be a male, and I get that he is African American as well, and he is about her age, maybe a little bit older. And he's like, hey, Lauren, you need to really get your album out. You really need to get back out there. There's a lot of people rooting for you still. We want to see, so I feel like that is going on. At the same time, she's really starting to realize, that her presence is long overdue. We need Lauren back in the music industry. We just need her. But I feel like, she tends to kind of daydream sometimes and thinks about, the what ifs and things too far out in the future. She is a Gemini, so we tend to do that. And our mind is always going and going and going. But since she is a Gemini, she is very creative and she is going to be involved in different things. And I get that, right now she could be very emotional. I feel like she is in a period, where she wants to like move forward, but she feels like something, causes her to take two steps back. And I feel like this is maybe, people that are around her, people that she's, joined already as friends. And, she doesn't want them to think that, by her going back that she's abandoning them, or, she's thinking that she's better than them anymore. Because I feel like in many ways she kind of, like threw away she took away all the fame and stardom and stripped herself down to the bare minimum as a human being again, to know and kind of feel what it is to be a human being and really relate to the people around you. So when people hear Lauren, in her community, wherever she lives, they see her as Lauren, not Lauryn Hill, the artist. So I feel like a lot of people now, she's done a lot of work and over time to really get people to see her for who she is as a human being. And now, she doesn't want them to, she has a lot of insecurities about, not that she cares necessarily what people think, but she did, she's helped a lot of people on the down low. And I feel like she just doesn't want them to feel like, she's turned her back on them, which is not the case. If they're really, love her and support her, they will see past this. But I do feel like her emotions are a little bit up and down, and there is a lot of darkness that does surround her. I feel like this is in the near future, like in 2019. These are darker themes. I feel like this involves a male that she may be having feelings for. This could be a family member, but there is something there that is that's going to test her or challenge her, and you could say it's like a setback again for her career, for her album. I think the question is, when is she going to have another album out? Like I said, timelines are kind of hard because we're not God. We really can't tell, when a particular timeline is, but we can get energetic snapshots that align with her soul. So I kind of see something between 2020, 2021, maybe sooner. It's all going to depend on her free will, and she can accelerate this time period. But I do feel like she is working on an album, and it is going to be successful. But it's just a matter of her whether she wants to go and release it independently or release it through a company or a record label. But I feel like it's going to be through a record label, really and truly. So I am seeing that, and I also see that she is protected. There's a lot of people, like I said, that don't want to really see her come back because they still, have that, because she's a woman, and they're scared that she would have a lot of, power and success. But like I said, I feel like she's overcoming and coming back full circle in her career. So there's a lot of positive, energy, and I feel like the stars are aligning, and she's going to just be back on the scene bigger than ever. So we haven't seen and heard the last of Miss Lauryn Hill. And this was my celebrity psychic reading. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to set up a private reading with me, you can go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day.